Hi, it's me, Alana. How's it going? So today I am going to be talking about Hamtaro Ham Ham Heartbreak for the Game Boy Advance. But before that, something you need to know about me is that I love love. Of course, not strictly romantic love, but I do believe that love is truly the only thing that changes people and really makes life worth living. So Hamtaro was one of my favorite TV shows and video games as a kid. I actually recently was doing some test streams on this channel playing Hamtaro. If you really want to see it, if you missed it, you can. I have an unlisted playlist of all the streams that I did. They're a bit of a mess, so I don't necessarily recommend it, but you can watch it if you want to watch me stumbling over reading a bunch of dialogue. And so the thing is, I really wanted to make a video about this game that I love so much. And it had been such a long time since I played it. I really picked up on some things that I didn't remember, that even though I played it so many times as a kid, I just was like, wow, this is it's definitely interesting. It definitely was not boring. I definitely could say that about Hamtaro. So this game is really centered around love and has definitely has a message about love. We'll get into it. And before we go deep into that though, for those who don't know, what is Hamtaro? So Hamtaro in Japan is known as, like, the translation is Trotting Hamtaro, so it's Totoko Hamtaro. It is originally a manga that was illustrated by Ritsuko Kawai about a hamster, and it centers around a hamster named Hamtaro and the adventures with the other hamsters known as the Ham Hams in English, Hamuchus in the Japanese version. So the Hamtaro franchise has multiple video game titles with independent storylines. Specifically for Hamtaro Ham Ham Heartbreak, it's a game for the Game Boy Advance, and specifically was the second adventure Hamtaro game released, because there are a couple like educational specific games that don't necessarily have storylines like the adventure games do. So in Ham Ham Heartbreak, you play as the hamster Hamtaro, and the game expands on the gameplay in the earlier title by adding Bijou, a friend of Hamtaro, who has a crush on him, as a partner that you also play along in the game. So Bijou, of course, is also in the TV show. Together, they have to save other hamsters' relationships from Spat, an evil hamster with a hatred for any kind of relation. Along with this, there are various side missions, the biggest one being finding all the ham chats. That's also in the first adventure game as well, which are special hamster words that also help to solve puzzles. In the game, there is a total of 20, technically 21 though, and we'll get into that, pairs of relationships that Hamtaro and Bijou are sent to fix. So today I wanted to go through my favorite relationships and how the game of Hamtaro sees love. And of course the ones I'm not so fond of as well, and how that also reflects in the message of love that this game is trying to send. So let's start with the pairs that I like. So the first one I'm going to be talking about is Arnie and his little brother. So this takes place after the first couple, Oxnard and Pepper, and for them, they are really a standard romantic couple, broken up by miscommunication, and it's a really simple, like, kind of fetch puzzle, passing along messages about how they still care about each other. Not only that, but in the middle of this first mission, you reunite with Bijou, who is trapped by a boulder when you first enter Sunny Peak, which is the first area that you unlock for the map. Bijou clearly has romantic feelings for Hamtaro, who is oblivious to this. We're going to get into that as well. We're going to talk about that. With the setup, you assume that the type of love that you're set out to save is only romantic, but then you meet Arnie and his little brother, which, by the way, the little brother doesn't have an official name. But after helping Arnie find his little brother's swan-shaped toilet thing, yeah, you learn the ham chat to open up a cave while walking through the dark paths, and end up losing Bijou, but gaining Arnie's little brother, who starts crying and doesn't stop until you slip on a banana peel. You have to navigate through a maze to find Arnie's house, and once you do, Bijou is there too. And everyone reunites, and it turns out this is also one of the relationships that you have to save, and it starts to contextualize the game. In what my opinion is an uncommon instance, Hamtaro Ham Ham Heartbreak places both romantic and family love as equal importance, and as well as down the line friendships too, mostly. And again, we'll get into that. But overall, I think this is a pretty solid message for everyone, and obviously kids, seeing as this is a kids game, and does a good job of setting up the most important sets of types of love that we'll be seeing down the line. The second pair that we're going to be talking about is the mechanic and his robot. So in the third area of the game, Funland, the first thing you see is a hamster and his robot named Hamomatic, who cleans up trash. As you find out, Funland, which is an amusement park, all of its rides are out of control, and you are indirectly told that you have to go to the control room and see what's going on. And of course, it's just Spat who's out there poking around at buttons and stuff and trying to mess up everyone's day at the amusement park. And after freeing the hamster who's operating the control room, you go in search of help, and you guessed it, you got to go talk to the trash robot. So in the process, you end up throwing some trash onto Spat so that the Hamomatic thinks that that he's a big pile of garbage and like takes him away. And once the Hamomatic comes back, it turns out that the owner of the robot and the robot itself are a pair that is saved. So this one in particular, I was trying to think about it and what it's trying to say about love. I'm not really sure. You could say that maybe it's the love of one's creation, but the thing is, this hamster didn't even make the robot, and we don't meet the actual hamster who, like, the invented the robot for another two areas. We're going to talk about him too, but maybe it's kind of a coworker to coworker, comrade to comrade type of love. I don't really know, but I really like this one because again, it's very unconventional, and while it might not be clear on its comments on love, it still deviates from the romantic standard we're conditioned to. So I think it still does push the boundaries of the box that we stereotypically put love in. Although I guess you could make an argument that maybe it's romantic, but I don't think that's the case. I think it's definitely more of a platonic type of thing. A strange platonic, but still platonic. And then for the third pairing I'm going to be talking about is Maxwell and Sandy. So the thing about these two is they are coded as romantic, but this one is probably my favorite of the main cast of hamsters that appear on the show. So Maxwell and Sandy are also characters on the show. A close second is Pashmina and Penelope, who are sisters. I still think it's pretty good, like the storyline for the two of them. And if you play the game, which you should, I won't spoil it for you, so you should just play it through. Still in Funland though, so this is where we find Maxwell and Sandy, and after Spat's been thrown away by the Hamomatic, we see Maxwell sitting on a bench reading a book and wanting to be left alone when we try to talk to him. Apparently they came with Sandy and Stan, who are sister and brother, and they tell you how upset they are, how they came all this way to have fun with Maxwell, but all he wants to do is sit on a bench and read a book. After a bunch of failed attempts to get Maxwell's attention, you use the Hamchan mingle, meaning play, to remind you why he came to Funland in the first place. And finally, he's convinced to ride the teacups with Sandy. And it's really cute that you can actually see them in the background when you get on the ride too. I love that. I remember as a kid, I would literally play that scene over and over again because I just thought it was so cute. Stan kind of, after this mission, goes off to find girls to talk to or something, and I don't know, he has his own thing that he wants to do. But what I think I like so much is that it promotes the importance of spending time with the people you care about, and it's a simple lesson about how maybe you shouldn't read a book at an amusement park by yourself when you promise to hang out with your friends. I'm sure that applies to a lot of people, but and while Sandy and Maxwell are coded as having romantic feelings for each other, I don't think it matters for what they're trying to say about love. Side note also, while I do recommend playing this game, especially if you've played the games in the past or you've watched the show as a kid, but if you've never seen Hamtaro before, at all and don't know any of their names, it is not newcomer friendly at all. You can kind of imply what type of characters each of the hamsters are and like their sort of character traits, but they literally don't have name tags in the dialogues, as you can see. And if you don't know or remember the name of who the hamster is, it's just like, I don't know who I'm talking to. Like, I remember I was playing and I was like, I think this is Panda. I think this is this person or this hamster. But it was definitely a little bit of a struggle to try to like jog all of those memories again. But again, I imagine all of that it would be a little annoying and confusing for players. But anyway, one more pair I wanted to talk about as an honorable mention were the two strong hamsters from Boo Manor, which is the haunted house area. I don't know if these hamsters are supposed to be gay or just like gender non-conforming, but they're super supportive of each other, and I think they're the healthiest couple in this game, to be honest. They actually don't give them like genders for it, so like I said, I have no idea if they're supposed to be gay or not, but it came off to me as that. So, so now we're going to be talking about the pairs that I didn't like. So the first one, so going back to Boo Manor, in Boo Manor, you see this couple who are fighting on the first floor. And as you listen to their conversations and bickering, you can tell this is not their first fight like this, and it won't be their last. I don't, so the thing is, I don't like being this person, but they definitely give me straight people TM vibes for sure. And what I'm trying to say with that is that I think that they should just break up. I think this kind of bickering is normalized in fiction and real life, and it's the day to day in a relationship that should be easy, and arguments should be relatively rare. If you can't have a good time in a haunted house together, what's it going to look like when you're actually going through a difficult problem in your life, like a financial struggle, which is so common with the lack of job security in today's late stage capitalistic economy? And yeah, it's a little silly to talk about fictional video game hamsters like this, but I just don't like how it represents the normalization of relationships like this and also capitalism. Well, that's neither here nor there and does not relate to this specific topic. Anyway, you save the girlfriend hamster in the manor in the game where you have to open a closet of your choosing, and the two of these hamsters are reunited safely. You could probably make a queer analysis reading here, especially with the use of horror oftentimes being a gay analogy, but I have to get to my next least favorite pair, so we're gonna move on. Hamtaro and Bijou. Yep, yeah, yeah. No, so the thing is, I don't actually hate them that much. I just don't like how their relationship is implemented in the game. So for them, after you save all 20 pairs of hamsters, you actually see that your love meter still isn't filled up all the way. But it turns out when you go talk to Harmony, who is the angel hamster who has given you this mission to defeat Spat back at the clubhouse, the very last pair is Hamtar and Bijou. I guess the implication is that the game within it, the two of them became closer by saving the world from Spat, but I think the scene would have made more sense before the fight with Spat. In the canon of the game, you go see Harmony and she makes love shot arrows to defeat Spat's robot. What would have been more powerful is if they needed to make one more pair's love to create the arrows, and using Hamtaro's and Bijou's love, they're able to make it or something like that. I don't know. I just think it's like weak. And well, it's not terrible. As the titular character, Hamtaro, I wanted more for them. Also, weirdly enough, I do have to emphasize that their relationship is implied to be romantic because the game of the storyline, as well as the TV show, by the way, never confirms it technically. Normally, I would just say that it's a kid's game, and that's why, it's like, it's they're kind of together, kind of not. But There's so many confirmed romantic relationships in the games, even with the canon characters in the show, that this pair sticks out like a sore thumb. And again, you could point to Sandy's and Maxwell's relationship and say it's the same as Hamtar's and Bijou's, but it's different. Because unlike Sandy and Maxwell, all the other hamsters are constantly talking about how cute of a couple Hamtaro and Bijou are. And Bijou's always eating up the compliments, and Hamtaro always remains oblivious. And it's just weird. And I think this comes from the dynamic of the show, so I blame that. I feel like the game had to work in the frameworks of the show, so they couldn't make them canon even if they wanted to. To me, what this says about love is that you should never tell your feelings to your crush, even though you keep being mistaken for a couple and never correcting anyone that you're any different. And that doesn't seem like a great message to me. But let me know if you feel any differently. And before we get to my actual least favorite, I want to bring up my honorable mention pair. And this one is from the area Wild Woods, which is like a jungle area. There's an inventor hamster and the wife that live there, and they are openly obsessed with each other. They're super like lovey-dovey and stuff. When you need to get into Spat's castle, you ask if you can use his hammer pole to fly over the wall. But before doing that, he's missing the last piece of his invention, which is a big spoon, and he has no idea where to find one. But his wife tells you that she remembers seeing one on Sunny Peak somewhere. So in the mines of Sunny Peak, there is a pedestal with what looks to be a Zelda-style sword. Throughout the different areas of the map, there are 3 marbles that you have to gather, and when you put them into the pedestal, you use them to pull out the special sacred spoon to use in the hammer pole. So the reason I hate this one so much is because of how dismissive the inventor is of his wife. And I understand the mechanics of a fetch quest, and it requires the characters to stay behind. But the way that they set it up is that these two are so in love, and the husband just doesn't have the decency to take his wife seriously. It rubs me the wrong way, and I'm not a fan of that. And also, this is the inventor hamster who made the Hamomatic, presumably because at the end of the game, you see he's making the Hamomatic 2 or something. So this is the same hamster. This is the one who made it. Anyway, let's move on to my least favorite pairing. And my least favorite pairing of all, the pair that I hated the most, is actually a bit of a cheat answer because they aren't actually a pair at all, which is why I am so disappointed. My least favorite is for the character Spat. Yeah, Spat. So look, I don't like the way that Spat's storyline ends. I get that he's like this mean character and that he hates love and he wants to ruin everyone's time, and it's also a kid's game. But I think they easily could have made a storyline about Spat hating love because he never experienced it before. And then let's say he had some henchman hamster that we meet at the castle who's been helping him out. And after he loses, the henchman hamster is like, okay, you'll get him next time or something like that. I don't know. I just think it would have been nice if he had something other than just flying away and swearing his vengeance, because the ending of the game almost implies that he's going to come back and his goal is still to destroy love. It's not like he changed or anything. And it would have been better if the implication was that once he experienced love, that he'd get to a point that love was worth saving too. But also, hey, I can't expect all that much from a kid's game. So, Hamtaro, the game. Again, this game isn't really revolutionary or perfect. So many of the problems in the pairs could have just been solved by basic communication skills. But again, it's a young kid's game. And I still think it goes beyond what I remember as a kid and what one would expect from a kid's game. And I also want to say I don't think it's like great, like borderline a romantic rep either. But only 13 of the 21 pairs are romantic, and 2 of them, Sandy and Maxwell, and the 2 hamsters who are eating in Sunny Peak, are implied romantic. They're not like strictly that. you could say, like, maybe they are, maybe they aren't. I don't know. Which is still surprising to me. So good for Hamtaro. The last thing I want to end on is that I was listening to Black Effect by Beyonce and Jay-Z of all things. And the beginning quote of that song really reminded me of this game. Well, there's a love of children, love of self, love of God, love of a partner. All of them have a different shape, but all of them is the same in the end. It's about sensitivity, it's about passion, it's about unconditional giving of self to another person. And there's love of humanity. That's the love that is right now needed the most. Love of humanity. But in everything, in all of that love, there is a soul. It's like when you take some eggs and break them, and when you take the shells and mix them up, trying to find the ones that match. And when you find the perfect match, when you find the perfect match, that compatibility results in passion, results in unconditional giving of self. I think Hamtaro Ham Heartbreak does a decent job of representing these words. Of course, you replace humanity with hamster kind or something like that. But yeah. Anyway, thanks for watching. I want to keep doing like some short video game analysis things for a little bit. I have an idea already for the second video that I want to do. It's gonna be out, I would say, the end of next month, to the end of August. Also, I made a second channel because I still I have like a passion sometimes to like make random videos, and I want the channel right now to be a little bit more strict. I don't know, like more edited content from now on. So if I decide to do a rant video or like a random vlog or something like that, or like a story time that I don't think necessarily would fit in the line of what I want to do from now on, I'm going to throw it on there. It's called Frill Lana, which is also my Lolita fashion Instagram. I have a normal Instagram. It's just Alana Janelle, Alana.Janelle if you want to check it out. I don't really post that much on it, but that's going to be there. And so if you do want to watch more content with me, I have a second video. It is about my new pet. I won't spoil it, but the thumbnail will probably. I haven't made it yet, so I don't know yet. But you can watch that and check it out if you want to. But thank you for watching. Another thing I almost forgot. So streaming. I'm going to talk about some streaming stuff. We love that. So when this goes up, it's going to go up on Friday. And when it goes up, I am going to be streaming at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here on this channel. It's going to be the last time that I'm going to stream on YouTube because I would prefer to do Twitch, but I wanted to figure everything out before I did that. So we're going to do YouTube one more time, and then from here on out, it's going to be Twitch 3 days a week, most likely like Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Sometimes I might skip Sunday and do Monday instead, depending on how tired I am. But that's the idea. Although this Saturday, I'm not going to be streaming because I'm going to be busy. But Sunday I will. Monday I probably will too. So, again, if you have the time, check me out. Eastern Standard Time, 11 p.m. Friday, the day of this video coming out. And thanks for watching again. Okay, bye.